Alright, so we're going to be swapping out the valve springs here. I've already swapped out all these valve springs. These are the old style LS6 valve springs, and we of course are working on a C5Z06. And the old style ones can be identified by the yellow color. The newer ones are blue. And this is the valve spring tool right here. But to get to this first, the first thing that you need to do, you pull off the engine cover like this, and then you have your coil packs up here like this, and they're held on with these 10mm studs. And so you take a 10mm socket, undo all those, and pull this off, undo the connector here, and then you're left with this cover here. And these bolts are all 8mm, so you undo these 4 bolts and pull those off. If you have an older style LS1 engine, you will have perimeter bolts on your head, and it will look a little bit different than that, but it's a similar process. Anyways, once you do that, you'll come in here, and your head will not look like this yet, and that's because you have your rocker arm assembly. So with the rocker arm assembly, it looks like this, and you undo all the 8mm bolts and the whole thing will come out. And I'm going to put this tool in the video description if you want to buy the tool that I'm using. You can order it, and I'm also going to put the springs in the description, and I'm also replacing the valve stem seals. I'll put those in the description as well. So you can do exactly what I'm doing here for this LS6. And I'm going to show you the easiest way to get the cylinder, whatever one you're working on, the easiest way to get it to top dead center. Okay, so what do you notice here? The reason the valve sank down is because we are not at top dead center. The easiest way to find top dead center is just to rotate the engine until the valves pop up. And so that's what we'll do here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pull these keepers out, and then we can go ahead and change the valve springs. And you notice we can push on the valve and it won't fall back into the cylinder, and that's because we put it at top dead center. And this is the best method to do this. Some people use compressed air, and I do not recommend it because you can still drop your valves into the cylinder. Now keep your keepers organized so you know which one went where. Okay, so do one side at a time. We're going to do the exhaust side first. So we're going to pull off the valve stem seal. We take some pliers that are not working for some reason. There we go. Pull that off. Get our new exhaust side seal. The exhaust side is brown. All right, push that on there, and then we get a new spring. New spring goes on there. Put the retainer on there, and we don't put the keepers in until we compress it. Now let's do the intake side. We want to pull out our old seal. This is our stem seal. We'll put in the new seal. Pop that on there. Put the new spring on there. And then compress this guy down. Put the keepers in, and then push your valve back in. Then same thing for the other one. Pull the other valve up and put your keepers on. Push your valve back down. And now we slowly unscrew it. You don't want your keepers to pop out, so we push our valves back into the springs, and we're going to slowly undo this right here. Now we can go ahead and bolt our rocker arm assembly back on there. So we're going to go ahead and screw all of these in, and the torque on all of these arms is 22 foot-pounds. Now before I hit it with the torque wrench, I'm going to snug it up with my hand ratchet. This will center the rocker arms on the spring, as you can see. Just kind of moves in there. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and torque all of them down. Alright, so those are all torqued down. And we'll go ahead and put this back on. Now these ones are just hand tight, so don't over tighten these ones. What I do is I just tighten them until they snug up. You can feel it. Alright, so now we're going to bolt our coil packs back on. So the coil packs will actually sit on your cylinder head without screwing anything in yet. So we go ahead and grab our 10mm studs. Alright, that looks great. Now again, don't forget spark plug wires. So we hook these up, make sure they're all the way seated. You hear them clip in. Anyways, that's all good. Now we have to put our engine cover back on, and this just snaps into place. you can align it with your oil filler cap. That's it, and then we put our oil cap back on. All right, so everything on this engine is ready to go. All I have to do now is clean up the mess and start it.